reactions out of those scrambles, I think, are going to be the big aspect of this set coming up.
For sure. And also, stage size can also be pretty relevant, but they are actually going to be starting off on small battlefield. Stretch is one of the most patient players that I know. He knows really how to hold his ground, how not to always, rush down and try to assert himself in spaces he doesn't belong. But right now, I think we're going to be in for the long haul.
This has the potential for a candle burner, especially when you take into consideration that Sonic can get a lot of damage in one interaction, but they have to be very choosy about getting into that one interaction. Much like how Lucina has to worry about coming out of scrambles, Sonic has to worry about getting into those scrambles. Because if he ends up utilizing one of his special moves while being mispositioned, Lucina eats him alive.
Ooh, able to find that side V into forward. I love the idea from BluStriker, but Stretch with a quick forward smash. Every time it just hits just above and just behind Lucina. Always got to keep in mind those hitboxes. Stretch is just so... Oh, that doesn't kill quite yet.
That's the price to play when it comes to Lucina as opposed to Marth. That was like dead even range for that too. But hey, it's still asserting stage control. I think that's what's the most important. You were bringing how stage size is a big deal, and there is not a lot of room to play on small battlefields. Stretch going to take that first stock because BluStriker doesn't really have much where else to go.
Ooh, BluStriker just barely missing the timing. I really like that early up B from Stretch, just recognizing that situation, using up B as a get-off-me option. And now Stretch has the lead, understands that, hey, unless Sonic really hits me not sitting in shield, he has no reason not to sit in shield right now.
Ooh, alright, that was a pretty interesting response to homing attack missing its mark. I like how Stretch is trying to figure out where he can position himself effectively to really get around BluStriker's movement options.
These early up Bs are doing so much for Stretch. Normally, these are edge guards that BluStriker is known to find, but Stretch, with his early timings, is just able to make himself so ambiguous. That time, BluStriker baited it out, was ready for it, and therein lies the mix. So now that BluStriker is established, hey, oh my.
Ooh. Stretch even getting a further lead off of that one. Stretch is playing with this matchup so comfortably. I am really impressed because he seems very sure of his positioning, and doing that against a character as swift as Sonic is something to be remarked.
But that down tilt is going to be able to take it. Just like that, BluStriker is able to take only Stretch's first stock, so definitely still has quite a bit of a mountain for themselves to climb. I like that commitment from Stretch, even though it didn't work out. It was just in case BluStriker did end up going low, and that time it does work out. BluStriker thinking, hey, maybe Stretch is not going to go low 2 times in a row, but wow, does he know how to cover his low options? Down air, counter, and just dropping down with back air. Going low against Stretch is such a dangerous commitment.
That game one was masterfully played. I would not be surprised to see us go to a larger stage. They're hovering Kalos. I would have expected the town pick, or maybe even Battlefield, just traditional Battlefield for a little bit more space. But Stadium 2, I think, is fine and dandy. Just a little bit more
Stadium
room to run
2
away
big.
with Sonic.
Stadium 2 is quite big. Yeah, no, Sonic is going to definitely have quite a lot of space on that kind of a stage. But other than that, I feel like the dynamic should be really similar to what it was in Game 1.
I think what the big difference is with this one is that Stretch has the same ability to cover the ledge and plats as he does on small battlefield, but because the stage is a bit more stretched out, you're gonna see it being a bit more of a commitment in the spacing.
I'm really curious if you did that intentionally, but knowing you definitely said stretched out. Knowing well what you were doing. I'm a little bit disappointed, but also impressed you were able to sneak that in there. Yeah, game 2 between these two players. BluStriker seems to be doing this a lot more patiently, this time opting to charge a lot of down Bs from the corner and waiting to see Stretch's next option.
The value of using spin charge as opposed to the typical spin dash allows you to figure out what your opponent's response is going to be and have a lot of ways to cancel it out without committing to the actual charge inwards. Like, being able to just sit there and ready yourself allows you to see that Stretch is going to wait there, whether it's in shield, whether he's preparing to position himself really specifically with a tilt. Like, gathering that information early on is really important for Sonic, especially because once you get yourself in there, you have to make sure that you're going to make it count. BluStriker really hasn't had a lot of opportunity to play an advantage, at least from Game 1. So he's recognizing now that...
That counter was so good. That was so well played from Stretch. Really, no matter BluStriker's option, the only choice would have been to fizzle it out, but Wow, Stretch was just so ready for it. That was such an excellent mix-up. Really hasn't been doing that at all game one, so caught me off guard. Definitely caught BluStriker off guard too. No way.
Oh, the spring put him in such a way that upbeat. I don't even know if he would have been able to angle himself outwards to get himself safe.
I thought Stretch was going for the biggest spring recovery of all time, and you know what? It really did seem like he almost had it, but then was just off by so few pixels.
Regardless, this is still a set that I would consider a bit even, not just from the stock to percentage, but the fact that neither of these players have really cemented a control of Stadium. Like right now, we see Stretch has got plenty of room to play with, but BluStriker has been really confidently playing off those metal edges of Stadium, just literally bouncing from one end to the other, waiting for the opportunity to make a hit last.
This is an excellent stage for Sonic. BluStriker is just able to cross Stretch up safely every single time. Ooh, Stretch baited out that get-up attack and does find a bit of a punish for it, but now not able to lock Sonic down in the corner. That's really where a lot of this matchup really defines who wins and who loses. It's when you do get close enough to Sonic and he is in the corner, are you able to catch his next option?
Like, Sonic's always going to have an out. His kit is practically built on it. But I think BluStriker's struggles in this set so far has been finding the in. Like, actually staying in on Stretch has been a really big problem for him. Typically, when Sonic gets a hit, you see a burst of 2 or 3 hits and then a return to neutral in Sonic's favor. Only going blow for blow with Lucina is leaving you in a pretty bad spot. But right now, BluStriker's really making it count.
Oh, BluStriker tried to go for it all instead of the quick knock committal option of up B, and just like that, up smash is going to be able to close out that stock. And now therein lies the next big issue of Sonic. It's how do I get this stock? But Stretch holding on to that double jump, so important.
Dolphin Slash is a cruel mistress. Stretch has been doing such a good job of using it to make returns to the stage ambiguous, burst out of pressure. There's little bits and pieces of damage here and there too also make quite the big difference, considering Stretch hasn't been super aggressive with approaching it on BluStriker. He's just been looking to find his marks from
He's waiting every single time.
Stage.
He's waiting for BluStriker to overcommit, just like that. BluStriker pressing neutral B in a place that he really shouldn't have. That was a really nicely timed up B, just being able to pass the spring completely. And BluStriker needs to clean up the stock quick before the game runs away.
Seeing Lucina live to 195 and counting? Yeah, and counting. That's, you know, there's something up here. Like, Stretch has just played this out so well, finally bleeding out that last stock, but still, like, forcing the approach from Sonic in such a way that's so commanding, with such little movement, too.
Yeah, he's just standing his ground. He knows how to occupy the space that he's safe in. Stretch understands, hey, I don't have any incentive to approach. I'm going to wait for you to mess up just a little bit. That was unsafe on hit, and look how much BluStriker took as a result, and that back kill is going to be able to clean it up. Stretch, once again, so good at catching all of these low recoveries. He hangs at the ledge. He always puts himself in a position where I know you have no jump. I know that you are unable to go high. I know that from here, you don't have any recovery mix to go above the ledge. I just hang here, and he trusts his reactions. He trusts his positioning so well. He is so comfortable in that position.
What I like most about Stretch's play throughout both those games is just how reserved he was with his buttons. Like, you were bringing up his patience multiple times, but even then, he wasn't, like, really going off when he found his hit. We didn't see a lot of chains with forward air. We didn't really see any risky attempts at stuff with Dancing Blade. It was just, find your damage, find your stage positioning, and make that count.
It was minimalistic in like the best sense of the word, where he was just playing really patiently. He was holding his ground. He was not trying to get too unnecessarily tricky with his movement. He was able to effectively mix up his landings, and he understood on a very fundamental level of like, hey, I'm at 150% and plus. I know what you need to be able to close out the stock, and all he did, he was just like waiting for BluStriker to overcommit. He overcommits once, he's able to deal 20%, and that's just a lot of extra credit that really built up for the last stock.
And with that, Stretch is going to advance to winners finals, so shortly we'll be seeing Beasts versus Stretch. Later on, we'll see BluStriker. Just checking out Smash GG real quick, and of course, anybody in the stream looking to do the same, exclamation point bracket, catch that Smash GG/Fusion. And BluStriker is going to be fighting off against Boost. Really hoping we get a chance to see that one on stream too, because that's going to be a lot of fun. But Beast to Stretch, Two of Tri-State's names who have consistently been in people's mouths. What are you feeling for this set?
Well, Beast and Scratch, I think that's going to be like a really exciting, like fast-paced set. But coming up, we did just get confirmation that we will be seeing Boost going up against BluStriker.
We're getting that right away.
Yeah, we're going to be